I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter. I coach people and organizations to play big. And I received a question from someone that basically translates into, how do I know whether a headhunter and their opportunities are legitimate? Now, I think they, first of all, misused the term headhunter. Because I sense that this person is a little less experienced than most. With C-suite professionals, the headhunters that they're dealing with are 100% legit, almost exclusively. And even in the question, legit, what does that mean? Are you questioning whether they have the job that they're pitching to you, that they're representing to you? And why would you question that? Oh, because in the past, I spoke with firms and they never got back to me. It's certainly possible that you weren't qualified in their mind for the role that they were representing. You didn't fit in some way. You didn't have the skill or knowledge. And those people create this myth of legitimacy around recruiters because they believe they've been lied to. Trust me, if a recruiter can get you the interview, if they can get you in the door, they're going to do it. The reason they don't get you in the door is, number one, you don't have the skills that the client is looking for. That's reason number one. Because trust me, they're not doing this as social work. They're not working for a government agency collecting checks. They are there trying to fill positions so that they earn a fee. That's the way it works. And even with the retained firms, the issue becomes down to, yes, they have their money in advance or portions of their money in advance, but they're not going to work with that client again and certainly not have the opportunity to present to people unless they're effective. So I think a lot of the criticism of search firms, whether it's contingency firms or the retained firms, comes down to a misunderstanding of what they do. Recruiters don't work for you. Headhunters don't work for you. They work for an organization that pays them. So let's work with the assumption that you're a junior individual and you're wondering whether this is just pure fantasy. Well, why do you think that they would do that? What's in it for them? You get into their database, ooh, there are millions of people. There are so many people. Their database now is LinkedIn. They don't need you for that. It's not like the old days where they wanted to get a resume into their system. They've got LinkedIn. So there are 50 million people on, 500 million people on LinkedIn and counting. So it's not for that reason. Why do you think they might have an illegitimate job? To trick you? For what purpose? To have you take a job that isn't right? Well, you're going to talk to the client and find that it isn't right. What's in it for them? And the answer is nothing. So let's put this notion of legitimacy aside, whether it's with a contingency firm where you think you're dealing with someone who's less experienced. They're just parroting back what they've been told by more experienced people there. So if what they're parroting back doesn't sound right, ask them questions. They're just going to run off and ask someone else for how to answer them. Ask the questions. If you're not satisfied with the answer, that's okay. Don't follow through on the job. And with the retained firms, ask away. You're dealing with very experienced, seasoned people who have no interest in lying to you because they know after you're on board in a leadership role, you will destroy them there. You will absolutely destroy them, right? So there's nothing in it for them. So put aside this notion as to whether or not the headhunter is legitimate or not. I'll also say that size of the agency, size of the search firm is completely irrelevant in measuring it. Seriously. Just because a firm is big, it means that they're going to tell you the truth? Well, they've been successful for some period of time. That's great. And they've satisfied client needs, but not everyone that has taken a job through that firm has been completely satisfied. It's just the nature of life. So the short answer to your question is you never can. But the more textured answer is there's really very little reason to doubt it, because at the end of the day, there's nothing in it for the search firm. Your resume already exists in the biggest database imaginable, LinkedIn, and you'll ultimately find out the truth from the client anyway. I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter. Join me at JobSearchCoachingHQ.com, where I've curated information to help you find work more quickly. Hope you have a great day. Take care.